Wow, this chapter, Nanlilisik na mata, it just grabs you from the start.
It really does.
And we're diving into this one chapter to look at how the author builds this atmosphere, how these little details and the folklore, how they all work together to create this sense of, anticipation, dread.
Definitely dread, yeah. And it all starts with the setting, right? They're searching for Lolo Ute, and
by the way,
the way the author describes this rural area, it's peaceful, but there's this underlying like a current of something else.
Yeah, you get that sense that things aren't quite as they seem.
Exactly. And that's where the sensory details come in, I think. Like, listen to this. The author writes, the chirping of crickets filled the air, and the sweet aroma of mango, chico, and jackfruit trees wafted through the gentle breeze.
It's like you can practically smell those ripe mangoes.
Right. And it's so vivid, so real. But that's the thing, by making it so real, so normal,
it makes the weird stuff stand out even more.
Exactly. It's that contrast, right? Like, you're enjoying this idyllic scene, and then bam, the author throws in something unsettling.
And in this case, that something is the ballet tree.
Ah, the ballet tree. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
So, for anyone who's not familiar with Filipino folklore, what makes this tree so special? Why couldn't it have been like a mango tree with creepy eyes?
Okay, so in Filipino folklore, ballet trees, they're not just trees, they're like these ancient beings, and they're often seen as dwelling places for spirits.
Oh, no.
Yeah, people believe that all sorts of supernatural beings, they hang out in and around these trees.
That's creepy.
And it's not just what people believe, it's how these trees actually look. They get huge, massive, with these roots that spread out everywhere like giant gnarled fingers, and they often form these cave-like spaces underneath. They're just naturally mysterious and a little bit creepy, even without the folklore.
Yeah, you said cave-like spaces, and I just got chills.
Right. Just imagine being these kids coming across this giant ancient ballet tree in the middle of nowhere. I'd be freaked out.
Totally. And the author doesn't let us forget about that camera.
Oh, you mean Joe's camera? That's important.
Right. It's like he sees this tree, and his first instinct is to grab his camera, almost like he knows something's going to happen.
It's such a small detail, but it's so clever. The author's planting that seed in the reader's mind, making them think, okay, something's going to be caught on camera, and then, well, you know what happens next?
The eyes.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret? With Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/try to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/try.
Those creepy glowing eyes.
Talk about a chilling image.
And it would have been one thing, like you said, if he just, yelped or something.
Right.
But it's the way Joe reacts. That's what gets me. He's terrified.
Absolutely. He's not just surprised, he's calling out for his dad. Like, he's really seen something terrifying.
Right. Like, deep down, this primal fear just takes over.
Exactly. It's like that feeling you get when you know something's watching you, but you can't quite see it.
Oh, I hate that feeling. It's like the hairs on the back of your neck just stand up.
And to make it even creepier, none of the other kids see the eyes, just Joe.
That's the part that gets me. Like, is it more believable because it's just his experience? Like a personal encounter with the unknown?
Right. Or does it make you question if it was real at all? The author does a fantastic job of playing with that ambiguity.
Totally. You're like, come on, Joe. Are you sure?
Yeah, and it's not just us questioning it. Even Gino, Joe's own brother, he's skeptical.
Gino's like, dude, it was just your imagination.
But even he doesn't sound so sure, right? Like, part of him is trying to convince himself too.
That's such a human thing. We try to rationalize our fears away, especially when there's no easy explanation.
It's like that classic horror movie trope where the characters hear a strange noise and convince themselves it's just the wind or something.
Right. And then, bam, something jumps out. But in this case, the author leaves us hanging. We don't know for sure if Joe actually saw the eyes or if it was just his imagination.
That's the power of a good cliffhanger. It keeps you hooked.
So Did he catch those eyes on camera or not?
Well, for that, we'll have to wait for the next chapter.
It's like, to be continued.
Right.
But even without knowing if he got it on film or not, this chapter, it really gets under your skin.
It really does. And you know what I think? It's because even with the creepy ballet tree and the glowing eyes, the characters still feel so real.
Right. They're not like suddenly Ghostbuster experts just because they saw something weird.
Exactly. They're still just kids trying to make sense of this strange experience, and the author captures that so well. Their doubts, their fears, even their jokes, it all feels very relatable.
Yeah, like when Gino's trying to play it cool, but you can tell he's a little freak out too.
Exactly. It reminds us that even when we're dealing with the unknown, with things that go bump in the night, it's our human reactions that make these stories so compelling.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Nanlilisik Namata, what are some of the key things we can take away from this chapter, from the B1 gang's experience?
Well, I think it's a reminder that the world is full of mysteries. And sometimes the most unsettling encounters are the ones that leave us with more questions than answers.
And that it's okay to be curious about those mysteries, to question what we think we know about the world.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, those things we dismiss as our imaginations running wild, maybe there's more to them than meets the eye.
Ooh, now that's a thought, right? So to our listeners out there, next time you're walking past a particularly creepy-looking tree, take a moment, listen closely. You never know what you might see or think you see.
And if you do happen to catch a glimpse of something strange, maybe just keep it to yourself. Some stories are best left untold.
That's true. Some things are better left to the imagination. Until next time, keep exploring those shadows.